Hi, this is Jake from Cabinet Solutions, and on today's video I'm going to go through the individual tabs that are in our tour software to give you a better idea of how the settings work. By default, all the flyout windows are actually closed. For the purpose of this video, I've actually opened them all up so you can see them all. So let's start off in the upper left hand corner. We have camera height, which adjusts the height of the view up and down. We have hide countertops, which does exactly that. It hides your countertops. And then we have use environmental colors. And what that does is that takes colors from around the environment and darkens up your image a bit to give you a more realistic view. A lot of customers don't prefer this view because it does make everything darker and a little bit harder to see. So you could always leave this off if you'd like. Next one is our lighting tab. Well, currently we only have the room lighting, but in the future we will have multiple different light sources that you can adjust the brightness on. So in this case, it's either really bright or really dark. Next is our room materials settings or room tab. This is where you could tell the program which type of texture do you want for your floor, your walls, your countertop, your backsplash, and if you have any doors that have a glass panel in it, you could adjust the glass as well. So in this case, let's adjust my floor a little bit. Let's change it to wood floor number 2. I'm going to adjust my walls from none, and let's give it a plaster look. And my countertop, I'm a big fan of the marble Carrera, so let's go ahead and select that. And since I don't have any backsplash or glass panel doors, I'm going to go ahead and leave those as none or normal. Next is our walls tab. Depending on how you draw your room in the designer, if you zoom out far enough, you're going to be looking at the back side of the wall, which is not ideal to show your customers. So if you look in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, it tells you what your mouse is currently hovering over. In this case, I'm not hovering over a cabinet at all, I'm just hovering over wall number 2. If you want, you could actually hover your mouse over a cabinet, and it gives you the information for that, which is going to be important for our next tab, which is the material. For the sake of this demonstration, let's actually hide wall number 2. So let's go and click on wall number 2, and click on hide, and that makes that entire wall vanish temporarily. And you can click on show and bring it back. You can select one wall at a time and hide individual walls. In this case, let's do wall number 2, wall number 3, and also my floating shelves, which is on wall number 4. Those are all gone temporarily. I could either click on show and bring them all back one at a time, or if I press the escape key on my keyboard, that drops me out of the tour and into our designer software, and then when you open the tour back up, everything is right back where it was before. Next is our materials tab. Now this is where things kind of get a little confusing. The information at the top here shows all the materials that are currently in use in this job. However, you do not need to change the material texture for each one of those items to get the best out of your view. What I'm going to do is change it for just the items that I want to. In this case, my side panels, my doors, and my face frame. So let's hover over my doors. And again, if you look down at the bottom of the screen, it shows that my mouse is currently over wall number 2, cabinet number 3, which is a full height pantry, and door panel raised with the material type of red oak. So from my material list, let's select red oak, and from the material dropdown, I want it to look like red oak. So I'm going to click on that, and that changes everything marked with just regular red oak to look like the red oak texture. Now you'll notice there's some items here that are still marked in white, and if I hover my mouse over those, you'll notice those are a different material. They're red oak plywood. So let's scroll through the list, find our red oak plywood, and change what we want that material to look like. In this case, I also want it to look like red oak. There we go. Now there is one last item that's still in white, and those are my toe kicks under particle board. Now, I don't really want particle board to look like anything. I want just a black toe kick. So I'm going to select my particle board, but instead of changing it to a material look, I'm going to just change the stain of it. The stains are great for if you have the entire job made out of one material type, and you want just your face frame to be different from the rest of your jobs, or if you just want your toe kicks or your finished ends or your doors themselves to be different away from the rest of the cabinet to kind of give you a more two-dimensional pop. In this case, let's select my toe kick stain and change it to 100% darker. give it some better look. Now, let's adjust my face frames to kind of give you an idea of what the face frame stain does. Instead of doing it 100%, which is just pitch black, I'm going to change it to, let's say, 25% to give it a more of a different color. Now you'll notice that it did not do anything. The reason why is because my face frame's not made out of particle board. It's made out of red oak. So let's select my red oak and change my face frame stain to 25%. And you'll notice that my face frame now is a different shade of red oak than the rest of the job. Next we have our hardwares tab, and this is where you can actually adjust what you want your knobs and your pulls to look like. So if I zoom back in on the cabinets here, currently my pulls are set to curved number 4 and bronze. I'm going to change those to, let's go to straight 3. For my look of those items, I have ceramic, I have chrome, bronze, dark wood, light wood, and red oak. Let's change them to chrome. And depending on the look that you're trying to give your customers for their kitchen, this would complement it the best. So let's minimize the hardware. And finally, we have our appliances and obstructions. There are some items on here that I'm not going to adjust, which in this case are my window and my arc window at the top there. So I have double casement currently selected for my window. And there's the arc window, which is the one above. There's our sink, which is perfect if you have a kitchen sink and you want it to look like a vanity, or vice versa. For bathrooms, obviously you do want a vanity sink. I'm going to demonstrate that by changing my kitchen sink in front of you to a vanity sink, then change it back to a kitchen. Let's look at our stove. So let's change this up here from sink to range, or slide-in range. We have two different types. We have electric, or we have gas. I'm a bigger fan of the gas stove look. Some items have different colors, some of them don't. In this case, our stove actually does have two options. We have white or stainless. And again, depending on the look that you're trying to give your customers, you select the one that complements them the best. In this case, my kitchen would look better with a white range in it. We also have different refrigerator types here. You just change this to refrigerator. And we have the French door, the side-by-side, Sub-Zero, Sub-Zero French door, the Sub-Zero over and under, the Sub-Zero side-by-side, and the top freezer. Personally, I like the French door the best. And finally, we have our section at the top there, which is the Edit Screenshot and Print. What this does is this will take a screenshot of what you're currently looking at on your screen. It'll hide all the tabs, take a quick screenshot, and open up the program called Picture Viewer, and that's built into your Windows, so that way you can save the item and email it to your customers. I'm going to do that now. Let's go to Edit Screenshot, and you'll notice my tabs will flash and then come back up, and then it'll open up the Microsoft Picture Viewer. This is what you could actually take and email over to your customers. To do that, on the Picture Viewer screen, you're going to click on these three dots and click on Save As, give it a name, and then you can attach this to an email them emailed over to your customers. I'm not going to click on the print button because it does the same thing, but it sends it over to whatever printer is default in your Windows, not in Cabinet Solutions. In this case, my default printer is a paper printer. I'm not going to be able to display that on the screen, so I'm not going to use that option. So I'm going to minimize my Tools tab. Now again, you saw that it did flash and hide all of the tabs on there and then bring everything back up. If you want to give your customers a view of everything, but not show them what the tabs look like, just press the spacebar on your keyboard and that hides them all, but still gives you the same movement as before. Press the spacebar to bring them back. And again, this is Jake with Cabinet Solutions. My phone number is 209-836-4077, or you can send an email to support@cabinetsolutions.net. Please allow for some time for us to reply to your emails if you do so. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day.